If you can change your brain waves from beta to alpha, now your inner world starts becoming more real than your outer world, and in a sense, you become more creative. Your brain stops talking to you in your head. You stop analyzing. You start seeing in images. You start seeing in pictures. And alpha is an imaginary, very creative state. You're still aware of your outer environment, but not so much. Okay, so here's the answer to your question. If you can get so relaxed that your body moves into a light state, and it's in a light rest, and you're conscious and awake, now you're in theta. And that's a very hypnotic state. And when you're in a hypnotic state, you're in a state of trance, and you're very suggestible to information. And suggestibility is your ability to accept information, to believe in information, to surrender to it. And that's what can program a person to do about just about anything, right? So a hypnotist uses, when he's making suggestions, the person who's in theta, the door between their conscious mind and the subconscious mind is wide open to information. Okay, so that makes sense. If you're getting information through your senses and you're in theta, you're in a hypnotic state. But what if the person's eyes are closed? What if there's music filling the space? They're not eating, they're not tasting, they're not smelling, they're not experiencing, they're not feeling, and they're in that realm of theta. And I ask them, instead of to put all of their attention on everything physical and everything material, to open their awareness, instead of narrow their focus, broaden their focus, and put their attention not on the material but on the immaterial, not on the particle but the wave, not on matter but on energy. And the atom is 99.9999% information and energy, okay? So having the person focus on nothing, this is the funny part about it, and broadening their focus, if they can dial down their thinking neocortex to theta, they'll have no experience of their body, no experience of their environment, and no experience of time. And they're in theta, they're still suggestible to information.
Throughout history, we've learned to fear the unknown. This fear has been passed down for thousands of years. When we keep thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, and doing the same things, we end up stuck in a cycle. This cycle creates the same experiences and emotions over and over again. But if we introduce new ideas, knowledge, and ways of thinking, we can inspire change. By encouraging people to make different choices and try new things, they can break free from old habits. In just 4 days, people can start to activate genes that help heal their bodies and improve their overall well-being. All of this just by changing their thoughts, actions, and feelings. The problem is, our brains and bodies are wired to cling to what's familiar. When we try something new, it feels uncomfortable because we're stepping into the unknown. Our bodies resist change because they prefer what they already know. This discomfort can lead our minds to revert back to old patterns of thinking. As we venture into the unknown, uncertainty can overwhelm us. Our bodies influence our minds, pushing us to stick with what we know. If we give in to these familiar thoughts without questioning them, we end up making the same choices and repeating the same behaviors. Even though it might feel right, it's only because it's what we're used to. So, when we want to make changes in our lives, it's about becoming aware of the thoughts we don't even realize we're having. The more we pay attention to these unconscious thoughts, the less they control us without us even knowing. Think of it like this. Inside us, there's this clever awareness that keeps everything running smoothly. Let's call it objective consciousness, or the subconscious. This subconscious is really smart, and it works separately from our conscious thoughts. It's in charge of tons of things happening in our bodies every second, stuff we don't even think about, like our heartbeat, digestion, and cell regeneration. It's like having a super-powered intelligence running behind the scenes, handling everything so we can go about our day. This intelligence knows way more than we do about ourselves. It's a fundamental part of every human being, no matter who you are or where you're from. But most of us don't even realize how powerful it is. It's what gives life to everything, and it's always there, constantly keeping things in order. Scientists are just starting to understand this incredible force. calling it different names like the zero-point field or universal intelligence. It's the energy behind everything, shaping the world around us. Quantum physics is only just scratching the surface of understanding its true potential. As humans, we're pretty special because we have two types of awareness. First off, there's our conscious awareness, which is all about being aware of ourselves and our surroundings. Then there's something bigger at play, what we can call objective consciousness, which is like the life force that keeps us going. We get to choose how we live our lives, thanks to our free will. But behind the scenes, there's this greater intelligence that's making sure everything stays up and running smoothly. Science is starting to realize that everything we see, including ourselves, is just the tip of the iceberg. So how does all of this work? Well, our brain is like the control center for both types of consciousness. Without consciousness, our brain would just be like a computer without power. But when consciousness comes into play, it brings our brain to life, creating what we call the mind. Our mind is what makes us unique. It's where all our thoughts, experiences, and memories come together. And it's all thanks to the intricate connections in our brain, especially in the neocortex, which is like the boss of our conscious thoughts. Our conscious awareness gives us the ability to think about ourselves and our actions, to understand our feelings, and to interact with the world around us. It's what makes us who we are, giving us the power to reflect on ourselves and our experiences. When we talk about someone losing or regaining consciousness, we're really talking about whether they're fully aware of themselves and their surroundings or not. It's like waking up from a dream and remembering who you are. This awareness is controlled by the neocortex, the part of our brain responsible for higher thinking. When we're stressed or feeling threatened, our survival instincts kick in. Suddenly, everything seems like a danger, and we react with impatience, frustration, or judgment. Maybe it's a problem with a coworker or a presentation we have to give. In those moments, we have a choice. We can either let our emotions control us and play the victim, blaming others or circumstances for how we feel, or we can take control and become the creators of our own experiences. Have you ever had experiences like this? How did you cope with them? Share it with all of us below the video. We are here to support you. Even when it's tough, that's when it matters the most. It's about recognizing that we're in a heightened state and taking a moment to calm ourselves down. We can choose to breathe, to remember who we really are, and to act from a place of clarity and intention. It might take a few tries, but each time we choose to respond rather than react, it's a step towards living a more mindful and fulfilling life. In our retreats, we practice this kind of mindfulness even while walking. It's about staying present and awake, even with our eyes open, reminding ourselves to be relaxed in our hearts and alert in our minds. All right, let's give this a try. I'm going to open my eyes and really pay attention to how I'm feeling inside. I want to practice feeling this way, letting my brain do its thing. I'll adjust my posture, change how I'm feeling physically, and walk as if I'm already healed, abundant, and my prayers have been answered. If I keep doing this over and over, it's going to become a habit. We've got different techniques to help us with this. We've got various breathing exercises and meditation practices, whether we're sitting, standing, or walking. The goal is to be able to do it with our eyes open, no matter where we are or what we're doing. If we slip up and go back to our old habits, it's okay. That's just part of the process. How many times do we have to forget before we start remembering? No one cares how many times you fall off a bike. What matters is that you get back on and keep riding. It's a constant journey, showing up for yourself every single day. Sometimes we might not see immediate results, but that's no reason to stop trying. Eventually, when you're so happy and grateful for who you are, that's when magic starts to happen. Now, Let's dive a bit deeper into how our minds work. Our conscious mind is where we process our thoughts and information. It's all about self-awareness, self-realization, and perception. This is what makes us, the part of us that can focus on any one thing using our free will. In chiropractic science, we call it the educated mind, and it's centered in our neocortex, the newest part of our brain. With more neurons packed in here than anywhere else, this is where our intelligence really shines. Let's break this down and put it into simpler terms. Consciousness is what helps us process our thoughts and experiences in our brain. When we think or feel something, it's because our brain is sending electrical signals called thoughts. So you can think of the mind as the result of the brain working. Consciousness comes in two forms. The first one is objective consciousness, which is like the life force behind everything. It's what keeps us alive and connected to the world around us. This part of consciousness operates through our midbrain, cerebellum, and brainstem. It's like our subconscious mind. Then there's subjective consciousness, which is located in the neocortex, the newest part of our brain. This is the part of us that learns, grows, and evolves. It's what we call the conscious mind. Once we understand how our brain creates thoughts and mind, we can start to think beyond what we already know. By connecting our conscious mind with this infinite potential, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Consciousness is the key to changing both our brain and our mind. It's that invisible part of ourselves that influences how our brain works. When we're truly conscious, aware, and present, that's when we can start to change how our brain creates thoughts and feelings. By using our conscious mind together with our subconscious mind, we can upgrade our mental software and rewire our brain. The idea is, if we can change how we think and feel, we can start to see changes in our lives. We can go from feeling like victims of our circumstances to being creators of our own destiny. Our goal is to help people reverse this process. Everything in our lives, people, places, things, is all mapped out in our brain. Our brain holds on to memories and emotions from past experiences, shaping how we think, act, and feel in the present. But if we can change how we think, act, and feel, we can change our lives, and that's where meditation comes in. By taking time to review our thoughts, actions, and feelings, we can start to break free from those unconscious patterns that hold us back. It's not easy, it's actually much easier to forget than to remember, but by overcoming those old patterns, we can start to see real changes in our lives. And that's the exciting part of being the creators of our own lives. Did you know that every day you have around 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts buzzing around your head? Surprisingly, about 90% of these thoughts are the same as the ones you had yesterday. It's like hitting repeat on your brain's playlist. Now, if you believe that your thoughts shape your life, it's worth noting that the same thoughts often lead to the same decisions. Those decisions, in turn, lead to the same actions, which create similar experiences. And guess what? Similar experiences bring about the same feelings. And those feelings? Yep, they circle back to the same thoughts. It's a loop. Your brain, the marvelous organ that it is, reflects all this. How you think, act, and feel is what we call your personality, and your personality shapes your world. So, if you're itching for a change, you've got to shake things up. Start by paying attention to those automatic thoughts that zip through your mind unnoticed. Then, take a good look at your habits and behaviors, maybe tweak a few. And those emotions you carry around, check if they still fit. Some might be leftover baggage from the past, but many people try to change their lives without changing themselves. It's like trying to play a new game with the same old rules. It just doesn't work. You've got to become someone new, literally. Think of your brain as a record player stuck on repeat. If you keep doing the same routine day in, day out, your brain doesn't budge. It's like a broken record. So, if you want your brain to grow, you've got to mix things up. Break the routine. Try something new. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. Remember, there's a neat principle in science that says, nerve cells that fire together wire together. In simpler terms, if you keep doing the same things, your brain gets stuck in the same patterns. So, if you want to break free from the loop, you've got to shake things up. When you keep doing the same things over and over again, your brain gets used to it. It's like teaching your body a routine until it knows it better than your brain does. By the time you hit your mid-30s, most of your behaviors, habits, and even feelings are like autopilot. They happen without you even thinking. Why does this matter? Well, because your brain is like a sponge, soaking up new info. Every time you learn something, your brain makes new connections. That's what learning is all about, making these new pathways in your brain. But here's the kicker. If you don't revisit that info, those connections fade away pretty fast. Think of it like this. Learning is like building bridges in your brain, but remembering is like keeping those bridges sturdy. And without a clear vision for your future, your brain defaults to its old ways, stuck in the past. So, if you want to grow, you need to think new thoughts, make new choices, and have new experiences. That's how you evolve. Your feelings and emotions are like a roadmap of your past experiences. They help you remember how things felt, which is why experiences stick with you. And as you go through life, your brain sorts through all this info, organizing it into neat little networks. When certain brain cells link up, they release a chemical that makes you feel something, like happiness, sadness, or excitement. And when you feel those emotions, you create lasting memories. Now think about this. If you're feeling the same way every day, doesn't that mean nothing new is happening? And if your feelings keep driving the same thoughts and those thoughts keep sparking the same feelings, it's like your body is stuck on repeat. You see, if you can't think beyond how you feel, you're kind of living in the past. That's why many folks spend their lives talking about why they never reach their goals. It's all tied to past experiences. But memories aren't just about big moments like weddings or fishing trips. They're also about the tough stuff, like heartbreak or disappointment. And if you haven't dealt with those emotions, they can hold you back. Now, your brain and body are often stuck in the past because of this cycle. Your thoughts and feelings shape your reality. So, if you keep thinking insecure thoughts, you'll keep feeling insecure. And before you know it, you'll start believing you are insecure. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait for a crisis to change. You can learn and grow, even when things are going well. It's all about how you look at things, whether you see challenges as opportunities or obstacles. So imagine this. Your brain is like a time capsule, storing all your past experiences. And if you're still feeling the same emotions you felt for years and thinking the same thoughts that trigger those emotions, it's like you're stuck in a time loop. Here's the thing. Your body can't tell the difference between a real-life event that causes an emotion and just thinking about that event. So, if you're constantly replaying old emotional responses, your body thinks it's stuck in the past, 24/7, 365 days a year. But you can break free from this cycle. When something happens that changes how you feel, you have a choice. You can let those emotions linger and turn into a mood, or you can take control and shift your mindset. See, if you let those emotions hang around for weeks or months, they become part of your temperament. And if they stick around for years, they become part of your personality. You know, those people who wear their emotions on their sleeve and blame their past for their present. But here's the deal. If you wake up every morning without a bigger vision driving you, you'll just keep living in the past. You'll do the same old routine, see the same old faces, and think the same old thoughts. And before you know it, Your environment starts controlling your thoughts and feelings. You've got to think bigger than your surroundings. Every great person in history, like Gandhi or Martin Luther King, knew this. They had a vision so vivid that it felt like reality, even before it happened. And that's the key. Living as if your future is happening right now. If you keep focusing on what you lack in life, you'll keep attracting more of the same. The more you dwell on what's missing, the more negative emotions you'll brew up, like frustration and anger. But you can change that. You need to shift your energy and stop dwelling on what's lacking. When you constantly talk about what you wish you had or what's missing, you're sending out vibes of lack. It's like a cycle. Your thoughts create your reality. If you keep thinking you don't have something, you'll keep noticing more things you lack. You can break this cycle. The first step is to set the right intention. Your intention can change how your brain works. It's like rewiring your subconscious to focus on what you want, not what you don't have. And here's the interesting part. These teachings aren't new. They date back thousands of years to an Indian guru named Patanjali. He had this ancient wisdom about harnessing the power of words and yoga to heal and manifest desires. It's incredible how much they knew back then, even without all our modern tech. So by embracing these teachings, you can embark on a spiritual journey, a journey of self-discovery and manifestation. It's about tapping into your inner energy to make your dreams a reality. This meditation process involves using a repetitive sound called a mantra to guide your inner energy. By incorporating the name of God as this sound, you're tapping into heightened spiritual energy. This shift in your inner energy can lead to productive, healing, and self-realizing experiences. You can use this technique to manifest anything you desire in life: success, money, happiness, even conception if you've struggled with it before. These teachings have been around for centuries, even before Jesus' time. They're rooted in ancient wisdom that stood the test of time. Repeating sounds or mantras taps into dormant inner energy, helping manifest desires. I've personally experienced its power, and many others have too. It's about focusing your meditation to activate your inner power and turn your desires into reality. Our minds are trainable. What we focus on tends to manifest in our lives. For example, if you dwell on a sniffle, it might escalate into a fever. This shows how our thoughts shape our reality. The goal is self-actualization, knowing and mastering what you're capable of. Those who achieve it have a different mindset and subconscious wiring. They understand their potential and can channel it effectively. That's the secret to manifestation, tapping into your inner power and becoming its master. Self-actualization brings inner peace, shielding you from external turmoil. A wise saying I've held on to is, "The same mind that created a problem cannot solve it." If you look at those struggling in life, financially, emotionally, or health-wise, they share one trait: focusing on their problems. This perpetuates a cycle of negativity they can't break. In contrast, self-realized individuals have a heightened consciousness, shaping their desired lives. Consider a woman I counseled, recovering from toxic relationships. She attracted disrespect because her focus remained on past misery. Like a boat moving forward, your life progresses with the present, not dwelling on past ripples. You can't change by dwelling on past problems. Others' opinions shouldn't dictate your path. If you focus on what you lack, you'll attract more negativity. Shift your energy, forgive, and focus on self-growth. Not everyone will support you, but maintaining inner peace attracts positivity. Radiate compassion, love, and positivity. Connect with your inner power and the divine. Remember, it's your journey, not anyone else's. When you're operating on autopilot, you're not fully aware. The first step to change is becoming aware of this automatic process. Interestingly, meditation literally means becoming familiar with something. It's like lighting a match in a dark room. When you aim to create something new in your life, you'll face the need for change. It's like lighting that match in the dark room and suddenly encountering thoughts like, "I can't do it," or "it's too hard." These are all unconscious programs. You might have lived with feelings like guilt for years without even realizing it. The idea is, once you become aware of these unconscious states, you won't fall back into them easily. Now, the big question is, what thoughts do you want to cultivate in your mind and why? Our research suggests that paying attention and setting intentions can create new pathways in your brain. With repetition, these pathways become ingrained, shaping your thoughts and behaviors. You can mentally rehearse who you want to be and practice those behaviors in your mind. Your brain doesn't distinguish between real experiences and imagined ones, so you're essentially programming it for the future. Instead of waiting for external events to make you feel joy or love, you can condition your body and mind to feel these emotions now. This way, you're not just reacting to life, you're actively shaping it. When people switch from negative emotions like fear or frustration to positive ones like gratitude and freedom, it triggers a heart-centered state. In this state, the body emits energy that affects the brain, making it more creative. As people change their thoughts, actions, and feelings and become familiar with these changes, they develop a new personality. If they have a disease, it's like it belongs to their old self, not who they are becoming. Emotions play a crucial role in gene expression. If you experience the same emotions every day, your body responds as if it's stuck in a loop. But when you understand and assign meaning to your actions, you can influence gene expression positively, suppressing harmful genes and activating genes related to health and immune function. We've seen remarkable changes in people's health and well-being by helping them understand how their actions affect their genes. You can reshape your brain, balance your heart, lengthen your lifespan, and influence genes related to cancer suppression and tissue repair. And you can start seeing these changes in as little as 4 days. In today's world, it's not just about knowing what to do. It's about understanding how to do it.
you.